So do you ever find yourself saying that we need a Rocky for the new generation? No? Well, they made it anyway. American Fighter is brought to us by director Sean Paul Picciano, hope I said that right, and stars George Cossaros as Ali. Ali was sent here to America as a young boy from his home country in the Middle East to live with his uncle in order to provide for him more opportunity in life. Some years later, in 1981, while Ali is in college, his parents follow suit and head this way to the States. Unfortunately, they don't quite make it. His mother and father are pulled off the plane, his dad is executed right there on the tarmac, and his sick, ailing mother is taken into custody. Getting no help from official channels, Ali turns to a more freelance option in order to get his mother to safety. Unfortunately, this option is not cheap, and Ali is told that he has to get together $30,000 in order to get his mother here to the States safely. And time is running out. With nowhere left to turn, Ali's friend turns him onto bare-knuckle illegal underground fighting. And it is here where Ali shows that he has quite the talent for scrapping. He quickly rises in the ranks as he earns the money to gain his mother's freedom. However, not everyone wants Ali to be successful, and when a dastardly plot to stop him in his tracks takes hold, he's forced to team up with an unlikely trainer so that he can not only win his mother's freedom, but save her life. American Fighter is a movie that I went into not expecting much, but coming out the other side, I was pleasantly surprised with what I got. Is this Rocky Light for the new generation? Yes, we've seen this kind of movie many times before, with things like 1992's Gladiator, Never Back Down, and many more. However, American Fighter does do it better than most. It's got some solid performances from some known and unknown actors. A couple of trip-ups here or there, but nothing too bad. Overall, pretty solid. The movie attempts to have heart, and while it doesn't have anywhere near the amount of heart of the movie it is trying to emulate Rocky. But Rocky's just full of fucking heart, so it's kind of hard to compete with that one. We get good motivation for our main character that we can all get behind. He's got a sick, ailing mother who just lost her husband, who has to get here so that she can get the medication to survive. And he has to earn the money through these underground fights so that he can save her life. We can all get behind that. I mean, it's not the most original idea in the world, but it is something that we can all understand and get behind. And it's definitely a good driving force for this character to do the things he does in this movie. The movie also has really good fight scenes. They're very brutal, visceral, and hard-hitting. You can tell that that was a huge focus when making this movie, that they wanted these fights to look really good. And that is a good thing because, you know, it's a movie about fighting. Speaking of that, that is one of the reasons that this movie and many more like it can't ever really compare to Rocky. Because like I said, this movie is about fighting. That is a core part to this film. Now, while Rocky does have boxing in it, it's not necessarily about boxing. It's about Rocky, the man, and his life, and there's boxing in the movie. This movie, and all the other ones like it, are about the fighting, and the people within the story are second note to that fighting. That doesn't make it bad or anything, but that is why all these movies can never quite keep up with Rocky. Rocky had heart because it was about this man and his struggle. It wasn't just about the fighting in the movie. The fighting in the movie was a means for him to get back on top and excel as a person. But ultimately, the movie is about the man Rocky, not the fighting. And as long as these movies continue to focus so much on the fighting and not the characters doing the fighting, then they are going to continue to come up short to that gold standard of Rocky. If you want to see a movie that did it right and probably came closest to those Rocky levels of heart and storytelling, check out Warrior. But as far as American Fighter goes, and in this arena of fighting movies trying to have heart, it doesn't do too bad. It ain't no Rocky though. As I mentioned before, I was pleasantly surprised by the quality of this movie. Unfortunately, that surprise is the only surprise that you will get while watching this movie. There's nothing here that you're not gonna see coming from about 5 miles away. Doesn't mean it can't be enjoyable, but it's not gonna be surprising. You're gonna know the end of this movie long before it happens. You're gonna know the structure of this movie and how the story is going to go long before it happens. Hell, there's even one part where the kill shot, if you will, for the end of the movie is telegraphed like a full 30 minutes prior. And I'm not spoiling anything here. You see it. When it happens in the movie goes out of its way to put a focus on it and talk about it. And when that happens, you immediately know that's gonna be the move that wins it in the end. It's no surprise, and guess what? That's what the fuck happens. There's also an obligatory love scene that seems pretty tacked on here. Thankfully though, it doesn't take up a tremendous amount of screen time, and it's not terribly done or anything. But at the end of the day, it's not really needed either. There's nothing it really adds to the movie except for runtime. As I said, it's not terrible, but it's also kinda pointless. Guys, at the end of the day, American Fighter is an enjoyable film that will keep your attention attention for the hour and a half it's on. It's got some fairly solid performances, some really good fight scenes, and leaves you on a feel-good, triumphant note, and even though you see that ending coming a mile away, it's still worth checking out on stream.
Across the street.
If you like movies about fighting that aren't really too deep, then check this one out one night. So there it is, guys, my review of American Fighter. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Iran.
Have to follow the rules, which are...
I don't understand why these types of movies have to continue to have the trope of the main character falling in love during all this that's going on. I mean, I get it, it's a trope that's older than time itself, but why not just have them either A, not be in a relationship during this point in their life, or B, already be in one? They always have to like meet the person they're gonna fall in love with in the story and then conquer that love before they can conquer whatever the sporting event they're going to do is. It's really fucking weird, and we've seen it so many times, I'm just wondering when someone's gonna change it up a bit. I mean, is that like the key to winning sporting events? That you have to find and conquer love first? Maybe I should start like betting on sporting events. I can like go and look into the competitors' personal lives and see who's entered into a new relationship recently and how well it's going. And if somebody looks like things are really soaring high for them, I'll bet on them and they'll probably win. I may be onto something. I may have cracked the code. Mm-mm.